All right, guys, good evening. Thank you everyone for showing up on time. Probably one of the most important time this year has been around these key events. And I kind of planned the weekly prep for everyone for this month just because I thought March is a very choppy month. But with everything going on, I'm glad that it happened around this time. We've been talking about, hold on, let me mute everyone. We've been talking about how the market can see a big drop, and a lot of people thought that already happened, and it happened in the software sector. And the idea was that stocks like Microsoft, and now they're down a whole bunch. It's basically in the correction territory, and a lot of people thought that sort of is over now. In my opinion, the first stop is 6,600, and I'm gonna share my screen in a second here, but I think we could go much lower in the long run. This isn't going to be a big drop like what we saw in COVID. I think this is going to be a slow bleed. So what we've seen in the market is a big drop, let's say 100-point drop, and then a 50-point recovery, and then chop, and then a drop, and then recovery as well. The reason why this is happening is because there's no clear information. There's no source of truth anymore. An example is Trump essentially started this on Friday after the market closed, I believe about a week ago. And then, in my opinion, I thought he would end this within the weekend. And when it didn't end it on Sunday, he sent a message saying that this is going to take 4 weeks. Then that changed to this is going to take as long as it takes. Now we're here where other countries are involved, and this has gone out of his hands. And every time he says something bullish now, I don't think the market's trusting it. Oil going up means that inflation is going to go back up. You guys would think that job market would get better, but the Feb data Friday showed 22,000 jobs lost. Insane number, right? We've never seen anything like that. And this is kind of what I was talking about. People are going to lose a lot of jobs because of AI. Within my sector, like what I do, I just sent a video to AI and it did the edits, graphics, caption, everything, and it took less than 5 minutes, which if I sent to editor would take about 24 hours because they don't do it right away. They take time. I don't need an admin anymore because majority of the work can be done by AI. So like think about what's about to happen with AI. It's not in full effect. A lot of people don't know how this works. So the market's slow bleeding. We're gonna start seeing the impact of it on other things, but I'm gonna show you guys what I'm looking at, and then we'll go from there. And last thing, for people that are part of the mentorship, the futures trading is happening right after. We're gonna use the same link that we used. I think what threw us all off today was the 1 hour time difference. I honestly had no clue. But that's what threw off a lot of people. So I'm glad you guys were able to make it today. So we're gonna share the screen. Can you guys confirm that you can see the screen? Awesome. Yeah, Gerald, I agree with you about the drop, but so this is, we're looking at the futures market. If you guys are new and you don't know how to get this on TradingView, the ticker is called SPX 500 and it will give you the futures equivalent of SPX. We're sitting at 6612. I saw a spot gamma report a while back and they said the first stop is 6600. This is the 200-day moving average. Now, I'm gonna start by giving sort of bad news. If you guys are not in putts tomorrow, probably not the best time to get fresh putts. And the reason is they're going to be very expensive. And if your timing's off, you're going to lose a shit ton of money on any bounce. My opinion, and it's a controversial, tomorrow money will be made on recovery because there are going to be bounces, right? That's sort of where the market's changed. This market reminds me a lot about 2022, not 2020. 2020 was easy. You had momentum downside and upside, and you could, if you had time, you'd get. Now, the way we played it, and the Discord, and the way I think we're gonna keep playing is two ways. If you are someone who doesn't know how to play putts or don't like putts or don't have time to play putts, you look at TZA. TZA is 3x leverage bearish IWM. I got them around $6. They should open around $8 to $9 tomorrow. I think they're going to $20. So let's say if someone put 6K, I think this is a 20K play. 60K to 100K. Just add zeros or whatever you want to do. That's kind of where my head's at. think 6,600 holds unless we get crazy bearish headlines. What's happening in Iran is this is where the lie, I don't want to say the word lie, but this is where the information is different. Trump talked about how they took off the first level of leadership, the second level of leadership, and they're at the third level. They just announced that the president's son has taken charge in Iran. That is the most bearish news that could have come out over the weekend. Now, Trump could start tweeting, saying stuff like interest rate cuts, and the market might start buying again. Eventually, it's not going to work. But I'm just saying, like, we don't need to worry about more downside. We need to now worry about more upside. So here's how I played it. I played Amazon puts. I want to show you guys, like, I've never seen anything like this before. These are all the puts that came in, and I'm gonna rearrange it by time. So this is coming in the last minutes of it. Now, I'm not gonna even check what Amazon's sitting at because I don't want to look at what's gonna happen. We're gonna look at this in the morning. But if I had to guess, you're gonna be up anywhere from 300% to 1,000% on the Monday puts if you added those. If you added the March 21, I have both. They're gonna be up roughly around 2 to 300% as well. IW inputs, I couldn't add them. If you added them, you also bank. I have TZ8, that should work. The other trade that's going to work is UAMY. I'm still holding half. That's going to be up roughly around 300% as well. But let's actually talk about what now we look at. So first thing I'm going to show you SPX 500. This is the 200-day moving average. Now let's switch to the weekly. So we're going to look at the 50. These are your next levels. You're looking at 64 26. But meanwhile, I think 6,600 is going to be a strong level to hold. So I think the market's gonna, if not tomorrow, they're gonna bottom on Tuesday. So I'm watching for the upside. Unless again, news drops, then you gotta be fast on your feet. But we're gonna get a massive gap down tomorrow, right? So let me show you. Hold on. So the market closed at 67.40. Let's put that in. So you're looking at this is the gap that we're going to open up. Let's just pretend that that's kind of where the market opens at. Wix, let's see where it's at. That's not correct. Gerald, if you have a second, send me the VIX ticker for futures. But VIX should open at around 35 tomorrow. For it's not TZ, it's called something else. Hold on. It is TZ. Why is it not showing up? Hold on. Oh, I was on futures. So TZ is what we were talking about. So sorry, this is where we're at. It says 7. It should open around 9 to 10 tomorrow. Oh, you don't see the chart yet? Hold on, sorry. Do you guys see the chart now or no? Let me know. Okay, you guys see. Okay, okay, cool. Gerald, you might be on the wrong setting, bro. You gotta look at it. Everyone can see the chart. Okay, so this is where we went in 2025, 25. So like Janelle, to your question, it is a long hold for me because there's no theta. You're not losing money. So I'm gonna hold this. And like I said, this is a at least 4 to 5x trade with like you don't have to worry about if it's gonna go up or down. So I like that for TZ we're already in. So let's go back to SPX for a second here. So this is the weekly chart, but I think what we need to watch out for is 67.40 and the 6,600 gap fill. What a lot of people are gonna do is, I think, looking at puts. I don't know if I'm gonna look at it unless we get more bad news. In my opinion, we're going to get some sort of a bounce over 200-day moving average. If, let's say, we are at 200-day moving average and we go below, in the last hour, we're going to try closing above the 200-day moving average. That's the stuff that you want to watch out for. So what a lot of people don't understand. There's a setup called failed breakout where we close just under the 200-day moving average and everyone goes bearish. And the later it happens in the day, the higher the chance are for an upside. I don't know if you guys remember if you guys were trading on Thursday, I think it was Friday. I took QQQ and I sold it maybe at 100%, and I took three trades and it ended up going up to 1200%. I'll show it to you. That's a failed breakout trade. Let's go 5 minutes for a second here. So it was on a Thursday where, sorry, it was on Friday where we broke out under 600 and people went bearish here, and basically this caused a squeeze. It also happened right here. This was 605 level, which is a key level I told you guys about on Friday. These trades are called failed breakout trades, and I expect this to happen on SPX. Let me scroll back. I think Gerald had a target of 543, 538 on this on QQQ. So here's my opinion. I think a lot of people are thinking that we're going to get to a 10 to 15% rally this year. You could potentially see a big drop and then we could end flat for the year. But again, with everything going on, there's a lot of stuff that we didn't take in account. One of them was Russia and China are providing intel to Iran. That's been proven. Um, Iran's oil reserves were destroyed. Iran imports that to China 15%. If you guys see the chess here, this isn't about stock market anymore. This is a lot more. And so you need to play very smart. I'm super happy that I sold my Amazon shares. I'm probably going to exit my HUD shares as well and look at other stuff. So there's three layers to this trade. One is oil, which majority of the people are late now. The next is fertilizers, wheat, and bunch of other stickers like that. For fertilizers, I posted a full slideshow on Instagram, and one of the trades was LXU. So that's the share that I'm in. And so dumped my Amazon position for this. Never thought I'd do something like that, but this is a weekly chart. And if you throw volume on it, look, different times require different execution. I can give you a bunch of swing trades for tomorrow, right? I can do that. We don't know what's going to happen in the morning in the news. And you're like, Mo called out Amazon puts, let me get it. What if Amazon opens at 200 tomorrow and then bounces right off and so first hour, you need to wait, in my opinion, let the IV settle. Then it makes it a lot easier to see what the picture is going to be. But in like out of 100 situations, anytime you get a gap down in this case, it almost always either closes in a chop or we do a little bit of a gap fill. Very few days, and in 100 days, I'm saying maybe 2% chance that we start going bleeding down like another 100 points. That's something that you have to keep an eye on. Don't panic. Don't feel like if you went all calls or you missed out, tomorrow's not the day to panic. There's something called turnaround Tuesdays, and I think we're gonna get that where we do a complete reversal on Tuesday. When I say complete, we make up like out of 200 points, we'll make up half the points, and then we go drop again. That's where you are going to want to add puts, not when we're down on a 150 point gap down. That's where you have to look at. The worst stocks are going to go lower. The best stocks are going to go slowly. So just because something's high, don't be like, okay, I'm gonna. So let me explain what I mean. Short AMD rather than Nvidia. Just because Nvidia's higher doesn't mean it'll have a bigger fall. AMD drops much harder than Nvidia. So that's what I would look for. I wouldn't go around shorting MU and SNDK over AMD because they're higher. It's just they have more strength. So just be careful what stocks you're picking. But LXU got a big position in it. This is kind of what I have. I have triple leverage Oracle or CX calls. I'm gonna hold those. I'm not really selling anything. I'm selling HUD to buy something. I'm not selling HUD because I'm like thinking the market's gonna end. But that's sort of like what my thought process is. I think Robinhood's a great company. They're ending PDT rule. I believe, starting next year. And they're also coming up with their own credit card with point privilege and whatnot. They're going to be competing with the Platinum card, the Amex Platinum. So that's going on. But let's go look at trades because I know that's the stuff that you guys want to talk about. One is let's start with HIMS. We're going to start with calls. So let me pull, I think it's the short interest that I posted. Let me pull it. Okay, here you go. So HIMS has a short interest of 40%. Um, Majority of the shorts are gonna get squeezed tomorrow. This is the chart for HIMS. This stock went from 73 to 15. This is where their shorts are stuck. This stock closed at, sorry, go back. It closed at 22, so I'm gonna mark this here. Potential to go to 40, 50 very fast because of the short interest. This is where we closed at because the buying after hours. 32 is our next level. If I was to look at calls, I wouldn't go past March 20. And the reason for that is, and if you guys have brokerage, let me know how much are 30, because it's going to gap up even more. How much are 30 calls for March 20? I don't want to go too further out because everything happening. I'm not looking to swing trade for this too long. I want to be out tomorrow or sell half and hold. So if someone can tell me how much the March 20 calls are, whatever they are, they're going to be open much ex more expensive, but that's, I'm going to write it down so I can post it on the Discord. So HIM's 30 or 35 calls for March 20. That's play number one because of the 40% short interest crazy. Um, there's that. Now let's look at IW inputs. I had a very massive position for IW inputs that expired on Feb 27. I actually took a zero on it. I wish I added more time to it because I was expecting this to fall the hardest. I know a lot of you guys are bullish on small caps, but I posted a report. Small caps, the entire index is at a net loss of $6 billion. They rely on borrowing money with the interest rate not going down and inflation going higher. It's not a good look for them. So IWM is going to lead us down, in my opinion. So we're sitting at 250. Let me see what's that. Or I don't know what the ticker for IWM equivalent futures is, but I know RTI is down. Let's see, about roughly 100 points, but IWM is going to open around 245-ish. If someone has just checked it, let me know. We're heading to 228 first level, which is why TZA is going to be about 2025 probably on that. But for tomorrow, for a small account, IWM is the best trade that you can trade, upside and downside. Based on where it opens, this is your first demand zone. 246.05. These are key level. This is like line in sand. We get above that, look at calls. We get under that. I wouldn't do anything. But I am telling you again, playing put tomorrow, unless something horrible happens that the market's not expecting it, might be wise. Otherwise, what's going to happen is I'm going to teach you guys something that not a lot of people talk about. So majority of the people look at VIX because they're measuring, seeing what the hedges are. Here's what VIX why I use VIX. So if let's say you go get puts at 246, for instance, VIX is let's say opens at 35, and the market doesn't go down, but it's just moving, let's say for the first 15 to 30 minutes, it's chopping, and people start taking profits on their puts, market's chopping, and VIX drops from 35 to 30, you're going to be down 35%. And you're going to know what happened not know what happened. It's going to be exactly like when you play earnings and you're like, oh, I should be up and you're not. So be very careful when Wix is high, means two things. It means that everything will be expensive because a market maker expects big moves. And you can literally go to ChatGPT and put something like VIX is 35. What's an average move for the day? You don't have to do the math anymore. And it'll give you the exact number. But that's what they're pricing in for. If that doesn't happen, then the puts and the calls bleed if that makes sense. So that's what you need to watch out for. That's why for people that don't understand this, and you're like, I need hedges, but I don't want to play puts. If IWM in the market recovers tomorrow, look at TZA. Much easier to play. When you buy these leveraged ETFs, it's good for hedging, it's good for short-term trading, but if you're going to hold something for 10 years, I would not absolutely recommend them because their management fees is really high. So that note, just know that they're going to take a lot of your money in management fees. You're better off doing in QQQ instead of TQQ. All right. So this is IWM. The next I have is Palantir. And I was going to take calls on Palantir on Friday, but I didn't want to be in too many trades. I concentrated. So instead of doing Palantir and Amazon, I just got two layers of Amazon. Palantir, let me show you what they bought. So they went aggressive on, sorry, I'm in puts. That's why I couldn't find it. They bought, ignore this 105 million. I think it's a spread because I'm sure you saw the put spread as well on that. So they bought this call. So it's two reasons why it's weird, okay? One, I'll actually ask you guys because I've been teaching this for a while now. Why is this line so weird? They bought 170 Palantir for April 2nd for 1.12 million. Especially people from the mentorship, look at this. When I say weird, I mean why is it unusual and why should we be paying attention to this? While you guys are answering that, MT posted that the 35 calls for 20 March are 5 cents. They're gonna be up 1,000%, bro. They're gonna be up at least more. They should be up about 2,000%. They might open about nope. This is 35. Tell me for 30. This should be up about 1,000%, so they'll be about half a dollar. Don K said volume. Yeah, like yeah, it's 1 million. That's a pretty unusual volume for Palantir. But tell me what else you guys see here. This is kind of, I want you to know how to identify this yourself because this stuff will show up on Golden Sweep too. But why is this something that we need to pay attention to? Does anyone else want date too close? So a bunch of things. So when we look for, good job, Jessica, this is exactly. So there's three things we look for. We look for repeat flow, which you could see there's a whole bunch of repeat flow. So this there, that's there. We look for out the money, 170, way out the money, not just out the money, way out the money. And then the third thing that I found very suspicious was this is April 2nd, not April 17th. Usually they'll always pick the third week, the OPEX. They never pick like a random date like April 2nd. And the rest of the OI was okay except this chain. So this is what I was looking at. I didn't do it because I wanted to focus on Amazon. But Palantir has been down because of Burry saying that this is a fraud company and whatnot. But this is a cult stock and you guys know if I like one chart pattern, it is a cup. And this is literally where the supply is sitting at. So I think this is where it's gonna end at 170. Again, I don't know if this is gonna gap up tomorrow. We'll see how the market opens, but this is what I'm watching for. This is how it ran. It went from 148 to 161. I wanted to get this on the break of 160, but I had a doctor's appointment, so I had to bail, but I just did Amazon. So Kareem saying the HIMS 30 calls are about 3 cents. They're gonna open around, if I had to get, they would open about $1. And that's sort of like what I'll look at. So anyone that got HIMS, even let's say they put $1,000, they're gonna make about 20K in my opinion. These contracts are gonna be up 2,000%. But we'll look at how this opens. Ivy's going to be high on this. So this is my next trade. This is again for calls. The next one is RKLB. You might get in a better entry than me on this. Let's remove everything. So this is where we're at. This is directly because of SpaceX. Certain sectors aren't should not get impacted by what's happening in the market. RKLB is going to be one of them. When there is an initial panic, everything sells off, and that's probably the best time to get. I don't know how low this is gonna open tomorrow. I'm not gonna be checking futures because I can't trade futures right now, so not no point. I'll see where we open because I don't want to get too excited and next thing you know everything recovers because something happened. But this is where we're at. I believe this thing could see 90-ish by March 20. So I'm watching RKLB. I believe I have the 79 calls on this. This is what I'm watching. 79C, probably buy more. I'm gonna add this as well. That's where we're at with RKLB. The next one I have is, hold on, let me see the flow on this. So this is what they bought on RKLB. Again, April 2nd, 500,000. Not sure what's happening. To Ravi's questions, yeah, I'll be whenever I get in again, I'll call it again. But this is what we're watching for RKLB. Next one, I want to talk about Amazon. I want to talk about levels. We're looking at 195 right now. I don't know if we get 163, but tomorrow potentially 200 is possible. They they're saying that I think I posted the article right here. Amazon apparently fired almost 3,000 employees that let's just pull it up. Amazon Prime Video bloodbath, 2,847 employees got the email at 6:47 PST. Your role has been eliminated. Now, majority of the companies, if they had this, they would gap up, but Palantir's AWS centers got bombed, and everything that's happening right now, it majority of the time it's bearish for them. So we'll see that. All right. I'm gonna pull my phone because I know you guys message me charts that you guys want me to cover. Hold on. So we'll go one by one. And then we have a futures training. Just don't forget about that. Hold on. I'm gonna try covering them. You guys drop them here too. First one is Tesla. This is what this looks like. I don't really trade Tesla. I haven't probably traded it much as like I would this year. Every single trade that I did trade on Tesla worked. But Tesla is probably looking like a gap down. They do have SpaceX, so we need to watch out for that. Let me pull Trader's Edge for a second, see if there's anything on Tesla. There's nothing. So, someone asked me for Tesla. Right now, the place that Tesla bounced off from, this level that you're seeing, 384, that's a 200-day moving average. That's the level of market. That's the level that you want to watch out for. If this is under closing to under 200-day moving average, you don't want to be touching it. My point that most people aren't understanding, and I say most, I mean like the general public, is gas is getting expensive every day. Electric cars should be doing really well. Go look at Tesla and Rivian. They're not doing that well. People aren't buying electric cars despite what we think. Crypto's not doing that well. It was an inflation hedge, not doing that well. I think crypto can go like this in October. I'm not gonna buy any more Solana and Ethereum now. I'm gonna look at other stuff like oil tanker storage and fertilizers, wheat, that sort of stuff, because this is a slow bleed. You don't want to buy this tomorrow. You want to buy when the bounces happen. So the new motto for this year, so until things change, is short the top instead of buy the dip. That's where we're at right now. It doesn't change unless the market changes and Trump changes. There is so much political stuff that I don't want to talk about that can happen from now until the election. I don't want people to get scared, but this war was never supposed to happen like this, where it gets like this. Apparently, again, not confirmed. They're saying that US soldiers also died, and they're also saying that they're going to need boots on ground if they want to pick sort of the leadership. They won't be able to do it remotely. And I don't know if you guys understand, throwing missiles at in Dubai, what would be the reason? Think about it, like majority of the multi-millionaire billionaires live there, and that impacts the relationship directly with the US. Attacking the oil reserves in Iran directly impact China. So all that stuff can lead to market lower, but a lot of times this unfolds very slow. And I think one of the things that we've all talked about is the market's very well hedged, which is why we're going down slow. If there were no hedges like what happened in COVID, things would have dropped much swiftly, and they would have bounced swiftly. So here's where we're at. So just so you guys know that part. So Tesla, start dropping the stocks you want me to go over, um, and then we'll go. So let's go. Apple. Now, with Apple has been always a safety stock. I don't know if that's going to be the case anymore because the rotation, sorry, the rotation is happening into more war names, which is LMT, Palantir, and all that. Hold on. So 200-day moving average on Apple is 244. I think we're getting there. Um, for bounce tomorrow, you want to see if we fill the gap. So let's say I have to check where we're at right now. I'm gonna have to open my other platform, but let's say we open around 253, 250. See if we bounce and try filling the gap, but this is ultimately where we're heading to. And don't forget that we have quad witching March 20. So historically, let me see if I shared it with you guys. I'm sure I shared the seasonality calendar with you guys. Here you go. So historically, March 14th is um is that the one? Hold on. Historically, we're bullish March 14th, but with all this stuff, I'm not sure we're going down all the way till March 15, which ties in with OPEC's window of weakness. I don't know if we flip this time. We could go the other way too, which means if that happens, we're going to drop harder because we're going against seasonality. It's Apple's at 256. Apple's barely down, eh? See if anything fills the gap, that's where you want to look at the calls right away. If stuff is not having a hard time filling the gap, then I would avoid it. MU, you could start dropping what they are after hours and I'll look at for you. But 365.34 is MU. Let's do where the moving averages are. So we're under 50. The next level is 100. We're not getting anywhere close to 100 right now. I think we're sitting at 364. As long as we stay above 364, this thing's gonna hold its own. I was short under this, 362.29, sorry. And the next one you have is XYZ. That's Square. I don't know if you guys remember, we were trading Square at 300, 400, buying leaps. We're at supply. I'm gonna show you guys something cool. This is the Fibonacci on this drop or on this pop. The level that you want to watch is 5840. If 5840 holds calls, if under 5840, I would not touch for calls. All right, I'm gonna end this because we have a futures meeting. For other tick stocks that people message, I'll probably post charts tomorrow or message in the Discord and I'll work overtime and get it done. But I'll be here tomorrow early as well. If you guys played Amazon, take profits and chill tomorrow. I think if we open, can empty check Amazon what it's at? I'm scared to check, but because I'm worried it might pop. But the puts should do extremely well if you guys took the Monday ones. All right, so the Zoom, it's at 212.15. Okay. We'll see how the open if it's 212.50, then you're looking at about 200% for tomorrow. Um, But again, gap ups can happen, whatnot, and that's the risk I was willing to take. I think one of you guys sold it already at a 64% on Friday close. I was up 15% for the 0 day and 17% for the March 21. I'll hold the March 20 and probably sell the 0 day. The link for the futures, Gerald and everyone, it's there. So it's the one before the weekly prep. Just click. Oh, it's 207. Yeah, that sounds more like that. I think we're gonna open around 205-ish. that gives you about a 5x on that trade. All right, I'm out. I'll jump on the weekly on the futures. Let's get on. Gerald's going to talk about the futures trading and then the prop firm he's with and how to trade that. Everyone else, I'm going to be posting the recording of this on YouTube tomorrow. So just tune in if you missed part of it. With that, I'm out and I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll jump on the futures trading now.